One way to get a sense of what dramedies are is to start thinking about dramedies in your own life. Dramedies in your own life would be things like you're experiencing something that can be like deadly serious. It could even be terrifying. And you're in the middle of that, and something so funny happens, it kind of washes away all of those feelings and takes you to a completely different place. Now, in great dramedies, sometimes this shift can happen within a scene itself, but I just want to share one story from a story that happened to my grandfather, who was a Lutheran minister who came over from Norway and had his first big assignment at a stone church in Minnesota. And so what happened was that he was really kind of new and young and fresh and having to prove himself to the congregation, and he had his very first funeral service that he needed to perform. So of course he was very nervous and anxious and kind of excited at the same time. But this was a man that died was really an elder in the church. He was in his 90s. He was a benevolent guy. He was always helping out, supporting the church and charities and so on. A very beloved man. And of course all of his friends, were in their 80s and 90s. So my grandfather's up in front of the congregation. It's the first time he's ever, performed I don't know if you perform a funeral service, but done his thing. And so he's standing up there and he sees that the pallbearers are walking with the casket. But because these are really old men who are not, in their full form anymore, they're really struggling the whole time with the coffin. And my grandfather's wondering if he should go down there and help them, but he's thinking if he does that, they'll be offended. He's kind of praying that some of the young kids, some of the young guys from the congregation would get up and kind of help these guys, because they're taking forever to get up to the front of the church. So he's, of course, praying that they'll get up there, nobody's going to be hurt, and it's going to be fine, and his prayers are answered. Finally, the casket comes up to the front of the church, and the pallbearers are kind of gathered around the casket, and he kind of, he takes a few deep breaths, and he's ready to kind of, help people grieve the loss of this great pillar of the society. And just as he's about to start, one of the pallbearers sneezes, and when he sneezes, his false teeth fly out right on top of the casket. So what do you do in a situation like this? Do you just pretend like it didn't happen? Do you make a joke? Because if you pretend like it didn't happen, then you'll be saying, we are so much missing the dearly beloved member of our society, but every once in a while you're looking down at the teeth, and then you start to imagine they start going kick, 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 kick. So this is a good idea. This is a good example of a dramedy where you're in a situation that's kind of very serious, but something funny happens. In a way, it kind of like, it doesn't take away the seriousness of it, but it gives you a chance to kind of ventilate so you can come back in and be more present in the end. And that's what happens when we watch these dramedies.